Hi LinkedIn, happy Friday. Rhys and I here with Data Center News Asia. Rhys, what are we running through today?
Forgot to say hello to YouTube as well. We're a multi-platform service. Few big stories this week. We've got a brand new platform from Gore Capital. PDG expands into Southeast Asia. AirTrunk are breaking ground again in Tokyo. Capitaland have a new fund for China, and GDS could be up for sale. That's the main headlines. Where do you want to get started?
Let's go in order, shall we? Let's start with the Infinaxis platform.
Infinaxis. Okay, cool. So this is a new platform. Well, is it a new platform? Because we've known about the team for a little while, but it's a new investment from Gore and A3 Capital. Is that right?
Yes, correct. So little side plot. We share an office with them, and they actually took the office I was hoping to take initially. So there's a bit of animosity there. No, only joking. But now they've announced this, that they're going to be developing data centers across Southeast Asia together. The operator is going to be called Infinaxis data centers, and it's going to be a series of both greenfield and I suppose brownfield / underperforming assets across the region. I believe they're going to be, the aim is to kind of build to tier three standards, and they've announced their first site as part of this deal.
So this is it's one campus, but in Cyberjaya, but it's two sites, and I saw the numbers were given as 12 megawatt plus. The second one wasn't named, but it's about the same sort of size.
I think it's at 12 as well, actually.
Okay, so yeah. That's the first campus, and that was a statement from Zachary and Chai about that. So is that going to start construction quite soon, or didn't see the timelines on there?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's actually a specific timeline announced in the press release, but I believe it's relatively imminent. Yeah, and I think I've got 2025 in my head now that you mention it. So I think that project's going to be starting pretty soon. Yeah, and with kind of a pretty standard timeline attached to it, 18 months, 2 years. So yeah, congratulations to the team. This has been bubbling in the background for quite a while. So great to finally get the announcement out, and good luck to them as they look to expand. I think some of the countries they mentioned: Indonesia, Singapore,
Malaysia as well.
Malaysia, obviously, Thailand. A couple of basically Southeast Asia. So yeah, like I said, congratulations, and be interested to see how they get on.
Well, speaking of Southeast Asia, PDG's expansion plans. So this is a $1 billion investment plan, which they're calling Singapore Plus.
Yeah, so Singapore Plus, kind of borrowing from the EDB, so the Economic Development Board of Singapore. This is a strategy, not only a data center strategy put forward by Singapore, but kind of a more broad strategy where they hope to take advantage of some of the strengths that Singapore has in terms of attracting senior management and those kind of roles, and then taking advantage of Johor and Batam, where obviously land is more available. There's power, there's potentially access to green energy as well, and things like that. So PDG have kind of adopted this Singapore Plus mantra. As part of this, they've announced a project in Batam, which is Indonesia. So it's about an hour or so south of Singapore by ferry. So geographically, I think it's 10 or so kilometers, very close. 96 megawatt campus in the Nongsa Digital Park. So Nongsa Digital Park is, I think it's special economic zone status or special trade zone status.
Special economic zone, yeah. And this is the same area of the campus where GDS are already underway.
Yeah, so I believe we've identified which plot it is based on the information they shared. So 96 megawatts on a 6-hectare site, which is going to be 4 24 megawatt developments, if we're not mistaken. Given the rendering, yeah, like I said, with both the rendering information and the site, like I said, I'm pretty sure we know which plot it is. And it'll be interesting how this plays out, because Johor obviously has captured all the headlines in the past, I suppose 6 months, going back a year. Batam, maybe not quite as much, but maybe this is the start of a lot more announcements in Batam.
Well, we have to assume that one of their existing customers has put up the demand for this, because that's a big gamble, isn't it? 96 megawatts in a new area.
Well, Rhys, I say we don't speculate, right? So I'm sure there's obviously something behind this. And again, good luck to the team. It's an exciting development. I'm looking forward to getting down to Batam. It's been a couple of months since I've been down there, and seems to be quite a lot going on. And I know that the people behind Nongsa Digital Park, this is probably one of the announcements they were waiting to be released. So yeah, I think we'll see a lot more in the next coming months from everyone involved there. So again, congrats to PDG, the Nongsa Digital Park team, everyone involved in this.
Good spot for golf, Berta. I mean, not a big fan myself, but
don't like golf.
Yeah, and PDG been expanding rapidly recently. They launched their 48 megawatt one in Mumbai a couple of months ago, and we're still waiting on the next updates from the 100 megawatt campus in Saitama, which was my segue into Tokyo. AirTrunk have broken ground again on, this is the new part. I was confused with this story. So they've broken ground on Top 2, and the ceremony's happened, but this is a new phase of that campus.
Yeah, so it's obviously different buildings. It's a 110 megawatt campus, right? So it's not obviously just one big building. So it's a number of different buildings. So they've broken ground on the second building, which I believe is up to 50 megawatts IT load, I think it is. What interesting about this is it the same client as was responsible for the first building, or is it a new client? Either way, it's quite clear that this site has been very successful. This is the Ame site talked to, which is West Tokyo. But it looks like there's plenty of demand from the clouds. In that location, and it's nice compliment, obviously, to their TOC 1 facility in Inzai. And going to Japan in a couple of weeks, hoping to take in both sites. So should be able to see what's happening on the ground there.
Well, this brings their total Tokyo footprint up to about 450 megawatts by the time this phase is completed. So
it's fully built out.
Yeah. But I assume by this point that Nori-san must have the Shinto priest on retainer, so maybe you can get down for another AirTrunk ceremony while you're in town. And the last big story we had, or last definite story, was Capitaland, and they have a new fund in China. This is, I saw that there was an equity amount that was announced, and there was a fundraise, but they've got 2 seed assets, and they're kicking off. So what's the story here?
Yeah, so this is Capitaland Investments. So obviously underneath this was the Capitaland master brand. There's a number of different funds and a number of different investment vehicles. So Capitaland Investments, they have set up, let me get this right, it's a bit of a mouthful, Capitaland China Data Center Partners. They're going to be developing 2 hyperscale developments in the greater Beijing area. The number I saw attached to it was 1 billion Singapore dollars, so 700 million US or so. And the aim is to bring on, I think, 100 megawatts across the 2 campuses by around 2025.
Right. Maybe the bit I saw was 530 Singapore dollars, but that may have been the commitment to that campus. So maybe the additional is towards that. If anyone's got any more details on this one rather than the reports, then stick it in the comments. But do we know that much about the Beijing market? I know there's obviously a fair amount of detail on DC Byte, but is this in quite a central location, or it seems like some of the stuff that's been built a bit out of town?
Well, no, there's a couple of quite well established clusters in Beijing, and according to the press release, it's going to be in those established clusters. So Beijing has kind of got the same kind of constraints that you'll see in any of the major cities around the region in terms of power and land, etc. So yeah, this is quite a coup if they have got these plots secured in one of these clusters, because it's difficult in China, similar to Tokyo or Seoul, any of these markets. It's not easy getting great plots. So this is a big announcement, and one absolutely worth keeping an eye on.
Excellent. Well, congratulations to the Capitaland team. And whilst we're on China, so watch this. This is a rumor. I don't know how founded this is, but GDS might be considering a sale of a stake in their international business, some 30-40%, which was valued at a few $100 million, I think.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. So this came. This was one of these anonymous sources who can't say anything too definite, but it is out there now. So GDS considering, like I said, 30-40% of their international business, and they were putting a valuation on that of $300-400 million US dollars. According to the unnamed source, who was very non-committal, he said that there was a number of investment firms and sovereign wealth funds interested in acquiring this stake. So interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah, well, while we're not speculating, if the money was coming from those kind of funds, you think that'd be more sort of capital raising than bringing in partners. So, possibly tied to, I know GDS's share price has taken a bit of a hammering over the last year or so. I think more due to the greater tech landscape than anything they've done, but maybe a good time for them to raise some funds. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, Rhys, we don't speculate, so I don't know. I think we should probably leave it there.
Excellent. Will you be visiting China anytime soon, or just Japan's the next?
Japan's next. China, potentially Hong Kong. Someone who I hope is watching offered me a very generous invitation to go up and network with some of the bigwigs up there, but hasn't followed up. So if you're watching, do get back to me. Yeah, so Hong Kong, yeah, China at some stage. I haven't got anything in the diary as of yet, though.
Excellent. I'll be going over to Hong Kong probably for the WMedia one in April. I expect I'll see you there.
I know, I'm back in Europe. Holiday.
Wait, there was something that we need to plug?
Oh yes, plug. Most important feature of this. No, the Knight Frank and DC Byte report, which is out on a quarterly basis, was released as of yesterday. So this quarter, it's focusing on the tier 1 markets in Europe. So a lot of great insights there on the well-established markets: London, Dublin, Paris, Frankfurt, and then some of the, I suppose, the second-tier markets in EMEA as well. So covered our markets like the UAE as well, and a couple of other interesting ones. That's always worth the read. And obviously, this is a Asia-focused news channel, but there are some like I was looking through it this morning on the way here, and there are some kind of interesting parallels between some of the markets in Europe and some of the markets here. So it's, even in an Asian context, it's absolutely worth a read. Reach out to us, or I guess Knight Frank, for more information on how we can potentially help you in that, because it's great high level information. But if
I'm a big fan of these reports. I
rip them off all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Most of my social media content that isn't this is just your graphs, and then I do a little bit of commentary at the bottom about them. So
yeah. So I'll leave the link below for anyone who wants to take a look. And like I said, if there's any questions on that, even if it's Europe related, I'll be able to help, or at least point you in the direction of my colleagues who are in Europe, and we'll be able to give you specifics around any of the markets which caught your eye.
Excellent. Well, stay tuned next week for, I can't remember what I'm uploading next week, whether it's the next one of your India specials or whether it's one more of the PTC, but there will be more data center content for Asia coming soon. And other than that, happy Friday, I think.
Yeah, happy Friday, everyone. Have a good one.